WrestleMania 19, the second best WrestleMania the World Wrestling Entertainment has ever put on. Personally, I think that's near enough unanimous. I know a couple of people think WrestleMania 19 is better than 17, but on the whole, it's usually, for the most part, WrestleMania 17 1, WrestleMania 19 2, and justifiably so. This show, from basically top to bottom, it's an amazing WrestleMania. From the masterpiece that is Jericho vs. Michaels, to that awesome main event of Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, two guys who were at their athletic peak in that time period. They're both amazing athletes. Angle, the Olympic gold medalist. Brock Lesnar, just a beast. Like, no pun, like, I know it's his nickname, but generally just a beast. Brock Lesnar. So, those two guys going at it. Triple H and Booker T, that was great stuff, except for the ending. Didn't love the finish. You also had Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan. That match, 19 years in the making. That was a great story for that match. Just Rock and Austin, 3 at WrestleMania. Just so much great stuff on this card. A triple threat tag team match, which had more star power in that match than the main event scene nowadays does. Like, just so much good stuff on this show from top to bottom. So, yeah, today's review, I'm going to try and do this a bit more concisely than I did WrestleMania 17. Because while I was really happy with that video and how it turned out, I feel like talking about a show that's nearly 20 years old for 68 minutes is a little bit excessive. So this video, I'm going to try and keep it between 30 and 45 minutes. I'll see how I go. I'll probably skim through the undercard matches a bit more. Because the thing with this show, how they structured it was interesting because they did the 4 undercard matches, and then as soon as Triple H Booker T started, you knew, okay, the main events are coming. So we proceeded to get Triple H Booker T, Vince and Hogan. We got, Austin and Rock. And we got Jericho and Michaels, and we got, the main event. Or Jericho and Michaels came 5th, whatever. Basically, from the 5th match on, the rest was just main events for like 2.5 hours. They were just blockbuster match after blockbuster match. The last 5 matches of this WrestleMania were just amazing. Like, the first 4, they're all good, but they didn't really get enough time. None of them really stood out. But those last 5 matches, oh my god. Those matches made this WrestleMania the second best WrestleMania of all time. And granted, as far as match quality, Triple H and Booker T wasn't exactly amazing. It was pretty slow, pretty, drawn out. Triple H worked the match style he wanted to, so it was good for storytelling, but it wasn't the greatest match. Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan was just blood, because every time Vince is at WrestleMania, he's bleeding everywhere, as far as competing in a match, so those 2 matches weren't great, but, oh my god, Jericho Michaels was incredible. The main event with Brock and Angle was amazing, outside of the botch with Brock, and then Austin and Rock was a great match to watch. So, basically that's the show. I'm just going to get into this review. So, WrestleMania 19 came to us from Safeco Field, which, right away, the venue was perfect for this show. Like, having it in the baseball stadium, it was just so aesthetically pleasing, the show. Just something about this WrestleMania, the set I loved. I really did. So, pretty much for this show, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler on commentary. So they're for Raw, Taz and Michael Cole on SmackDown. So those are our commentary teams. The opening video package was really damn good, showcasing the meaning of WrestleMania and all the big stars in the company talking about it, which it's basically the same video package they ran all through the Attitude Era, where you'd have your Austin, your Rock, your Kurt Angle, your Triple H, those type of guys, talking about the meaning of WrestleMania, as you saw the best moments in WrestleMania history. Hogan's body slam on Andre, all of these, Warrior beating Hogan, all of these WrestleMania moments. WrestleMania 10, the ladder match. WrestleMania 13, the sharpshooter from, Bret to Austin. Austin winning at 14, all these moments. So we got the opening package. From here, we go to the first match of the night. Singles match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Matt Hardy with Shannon Moore defending against Rey Mysterio. This whole Matt Hardy version 1 thing, it was a pretty goofy kind of gimmick. I can slam a tornado. I don't know, I never loved it, but the thing with Matt Hardy, he's always been able to reinvent himself so well. You see that nowadays with this, the broken Matt Hardy, and now he's going to AEW, and he's going to be a new version of himself. So Matt Hardy's always been able to evolve his character and be entertaining and engaging somehow. Because this was after the Hardy Boys. Matt and Jeff were both singles talents in the Ruthless Aggression era. Matt Hardy in the Cruiserweight division. He didn't really wrestle the style of these kind of Cruiserweights. Like Rey Mysterio, your Tajiris, those type of guys. They wrestled a completely more fast-paced, high-octane, luchador-type style, for the most part. Matt Hardy was more so just kind of more a character in the Cruiserweight division, but Regardless, he was the champion here, defending against Rey Mysterio. The opening match, I mean, it was fine. Shannon Moore at ringside was interfering all throughout this match. It only went for like 5.5 minutes, but Shannon Moore got involved so many times. Pretty much a short, entertaining opener for WrestleMania. Getting these two guys on the card. Rey Mysterio, just flying around to open WrestleMania. I thought it was a good match to open the show. Matt Hardy was very entertaining during this time period. As I said earlier, the gimmick wasn't the best, but Matt Hardy's always entertaining. So Rey Mysterio flying around as usual. As I said, the match got 5 minutes. In the end, Matt Hardy, he grabs Rey Mysterio's tights on a roll-up, and then he's grabbing the bottom ropes. 1, 2, 3. So Matt Hardy retains the Cruiserweight Championship against Rey Mysterio. I gave this 2 3/4 stars. Most people give it 3. If this match went a bit longer, I'd give it more stars, but 5 minutes 37 seconds was what it was. So from here, we see 2 of the Miller Lite Catfight girls shown arriving to the arena in a limo, and they proceed to argue over which match is more exciting, Stone Cold and The Rock or Vince McMahon Hulk Hogan. So literally, this was this redundant segment. As you'll hear throughout the review, the Miller Lite Catfight girls was an absolute redundant waste of time. Granted, obviously they were there for sex appeal, it was obvious, but the amount of segments and the amount of time they got in this show, because the time you spent for the Miller Lite Catfight girls not have gone into Matt Hardy, Rey Mysterio, or the Triple Threat Tag match or something. The Miller Lite Catfight girls segments got way too much time. So here, one girl's like, Stone Cold versus The Rock, and the other one's like, Vince versus Hogan. So we literally got that for 2 minutes. From here, we get the Limp Bizkit performance. Limp Bizkit and their relationship with the World Wrestling Federation / Entertainment from 2000 to 2003 was just amazing. I talked about in WrestleMania 17 in the review for that show how, that song, My Way, for WrestleMania 17 was so perfect. Here, they show, the song Crack Addict is just such a great song. It fit this WrestleMania so perfectly. The set, the presentation, the theme song, even the catchphrase, Dare to Dream, everything about this WrestleMania just fit. It felt special. So, yeah, Limp Bizkit performed here, but, it was great to listen to. So, from here we move along to our second match of the night, handicap match, The Undertaker versus Big Show and A-Train. Yeah, not Undertaker's best streak match, I'll say that much. I mean, this was going to be a tag team match, Undertaker and Nathan Jones against Big Show and A-Train, but they really pulled the plug on Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones, he had the look to a T. What was he, 6'8"? This giant ripped Australian bloke. He was just a beast, Nathan Jones. I can see what they saw in him at the time, but just there was no charisma there. There was nothing to carry him on the microphone. He's just a big hulking figure. There was nothing more to him. He was very one-dimensional. So it was going to be A-Train and Big Show against Undertaker and Nathan Jones. They did the thing earlier on Heat where we saw Nathan Jones get attacked in the bathroom by Big Show and A-Train, so that took him out. So it became a 1-on-2 handicap match, Undertaker versus Big Show and A-Train. Limp Bizkit, they stuck around from their performance of Crack Addict, so they performed Rollin' for The Undertaker, because you got to remember by this point, we're still working with the American Badass version of The Undertaker, which, that version of Taker was from when? Late 2001 through 04? I don't know, because Undertaker, he came back after the burial at Survivor Series 03. He came back at WrestleMania 20, and it was a super cool moment. I watched WrestleMania 20 pretty recently. I'm going to review that show, so look out for WrestleMania 20 review. But yeah, Undertaker made his return in 2004. Here, he's still the American Badass. This whole thing, it looked kind of ridiculous, because there's Undertaker, who's he's a big man in himself, going against a 7-footer in the Big Show and a 6'7" bloke in A-Train, formerly known as Lord Tensai. The logistics of this was kind of dumb. Just a bunch of giants in a handicap match. Anyway, a lot of this match was literally Undertaker being locked in a submission, or locking in a submission on one guy. So, for example, he'd lock in a submission on Big Show, but then A-Train would just come in and break it up and then hit a move on him. So the heels would keep getting one over on Undertaker. We'd see A-Train loudly talking trash to Undertaker. Then Undertaker snapped, so he DDT'd A-Train, then went to town on the Big Show with his strikes. So that was cool. A-Train and Big Show arrested Undertaker's momentum. Big Show chokeslammed Undertaker into the ring. Then we saw Nathan Jones running down the rampway. So from here, Big Show runs over to Nathan Jones, or runs. Big Show meanders over to Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones does this wicked spinning kick to hit Big Show in the face. So that lays out the Big Show. Meanwhile, in the ring, Nathan Jones kicks A-Train in the head. Then Undertaker hits a tombstone piledriver on A-Train. 1, 2, 3. Undertaker goes 11-0 at WrestleMania. This match, I mean, as far as streak matches go, this one's right around the Jimmy Snuka one, right around the Jake Roberts one, right around the Mark Henry one. It's just nothing special. It's like an alright WrestleMania match, so that's what we got there. I gave this 2 3/4 stars, 9 minutes 42, Undertaker to go 11-0 at WrestleMania. So, from here, we go backstage again to the Miller Lite Catfight Girls. So, they're talking to Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. Nothing much comes out of this. They're just kind of beefing. So, you have your World Wrestling Entertainment divas against the Catfight Girls. So, they're just building up for this thing later in the night. Whatever, nothing much to say. So, from here, we go to the triple threat match for the Women's Championship. Victoria with Steven Richards defending against Trish Stratus and Jazz in a triple threat. This is very similar to WrestleMania X8 because Trish Stratus and Jazz are both involved in the Women's Championship match. Instead, in this match, it's Victoria as opposed to Lita, so whatever. This match was alright. Another one of these matches which, given this style of review I'm going for today, this undercard I'm not going to review in great detail because no one really cares to hear about Victoria against Trish Stratus versus Jazz for 15 minutes. Basically, Trish Stratus was wearing silver attire, and Jerry Lawler was having, a cardiac arrest on commentary. Jerry Lawler just was losing it, so in the end, Trish Stratus got the fall to win the Women's Championship, so that was good. I gave this 2 3/4 stars again. 7 minutes 17, Trish Stratus wins the Women's Championship. The match was fine, nothing really to say, so we'll move on. From here we go backstage. Jonathan Coachman is interviewing The Rock. So whenever The Rock's interviewed, it was always amazing. This was Hollywood Rock, so this interview was great. The Rock talks about how he can't stand the people, how the people, they boo him. He says he couldn't care less about them. Rock says that he's here tonight to fulfill his destiny, to beat Stone Cold Steve Austin 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania. A very simple but effective promo. Very strong promo, entertaining. The Rock just knew how to do the microphone, so that was good. From here, we go to the triple threat tag team match, the WWE Tag Team Championships. Team Angle, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin defending their titles against Chris Benoit and Rhino, and the team of Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo. This match, it's interesting. It's interesting to see that Benoit and Eddie Guerrero both involved in this undercard tag team match. When the very next year at WrestleMania, they'd be the ones getting coronated, in the World Championship matches. So, Guerrero beat Angle, and then Benoit beat Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and they had the big moment at the end. So, it's cool to see year to year how these guys went. This match, I would have liked to see more time get into it. Granted, if they didn't do that crap at the Miller Lite Catfight Girls, then this match probably would have been 4 stars easy, because this went for under 9 minutes, and I gave it 3 1/4 stars. It was a really entertaining match for what we got. The tag teams involved Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero. Those 5 of the 6 guys are all amazing in the ring. On any given day, those guys could put on 5-star matches with each other. So this match, it was entertaining enough. Just once again, the timing thing. Because Vince McMahon likes to do this at WrestleMania. You get the tag team division and just chuck them in the ring. So that's pretty much what we got here. Now, I don't remember too much about this time period. I know Los Guerreros had a bit of a backstory coming in. Chris Benoit and Rhino were just a bit of a random tag team. And Team Angle were pretty much Kurt Angle's sidekicks. So that's the kind of story with that. The match itself, as I said, it was really entertaining for the time it got. Team Angle, basically, this whole match was either Benoit, Rhino, Eddie, or Chavo would get a pinning combination on. And then Haas or Benjamin would break it up. That was basically what this match was. So I guess I'll just cut to the ending. In the end, we had Rhino hit a gore on Chavo Guerrero. Then Rhino will be pulled out of the ring by Eddie. From here, Shelton Benjamin jumps into the ring and is covered by Chavo for the pinfall. So, Team Angle retains the WWE Tag Team Championships. Basically, just Rhino hitting a gore and then getting pulled out of the ring by Eddie. And then Shelton Benjamin just covers and makes the most of the situation. So, Team Angle escapes at the WWE Tag Team Championships. I gave this 3 1/4 stars, 8 minutes 18 seconds. Team Angle retained. So, that was the best undercard match. From here, we go backstage again, the Miller Lite Catfight Girls, for a third segment. This time, they're with Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler. They're getting into yet another argument. From here, Jerry Lawler's just going off on commentary. He can't wait to see a catfight, so whatever. From here, we go to the first of the main events. And the thing, as I said earlier in the video, I love that there were 5 main events at this WrestleMania. Just the amount of depth and star power in this time period, just unbelievable. So, this match, Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. The storyline was awesome. It really was. Y2J, Chris Jericho against Shawn Michaels. The story, it was simple. Chris Jericho grew up idolizing Shawn Michaels, and now he got the opportunity to take him on at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Literally, the story was so simple, but it was so effective. Chris Jericho playing the bitter, dastardly heel. He'll do anything to beat Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels, really, doing what he can to, win this match. And this was the first WrestleMania match for Shawn Michaels since 1998, when he was literally competing against Steve Austin when he barely had a back. So this was the first of the Shawn Michaels WrestleMania matches that grew his reputation as Mr. WrestleMania. Because Michaels had this match against Jericho at 19. He had the triple threat, just a classic at 20 versus Benoit and Triple H. 21 versus Angle was unbelievable. 22, he even got a good match out of Vince McMahon. Think how crazy that is. 23 versus Cena. 24 with Ric Flair. 25 and 26 against The Undertaker. Just Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. He really did earn that Mr. WrestleMania nickname. So, as for this match, Chris Jericho came down first. Then Shawn Michaels came down. Michaels had the confetti cannon. He's shooting it into the crowd. It didn't work at points. It worked at others. So, that was cool. Pretty much, this was right around Shawn Michaels' heyday. Granted, it's not 1996, but back in the 90s, it was, so political and, hate-filled and spiteful Michaels. This time period, Michaels was like a new version of himself. He found God, and that really worked out for Shawn Michaels. So, the early going of the match, we got plenty of, grappling lockups. Both guys making separation. Michaels looked in a figure 4 leg lock early in the match, but Jericho would roll out and reverse the pressure. Jericho attempted a head scissors on Shawn, but he fell out of the ring, and Shawn would follow up with an over-the-top rope dive to him. Jericho would then lock into walls of Jericho to Shawn on the aisleway. He ran back into the ring in an 8 count and demanded the referee break the count. He did the same again, but this time tossing Michaels back first into the ring post. Jericho working the back of Michaels, that became the real story of this match, and God, it was effective. Because Michaels, the storied back injury that kept him out of action from 98 through 2002. Because Michaels, he was out for 4+ years. Granted, he was still on TV as the commissioner, but God, that back of Michaels gave him so much hell. So from here, Michaels was down on the mat in the middle of the ring. Jericho, he's parading around Michaels, slapping him in the head, shouting, "I'm better than you, I'm better than you." Just stuff like that. The storytelling was so good. Jericho was going after the lower back of Michaels some more. And then from here, we got the part of the match where Jericho knocked down Michaels. Then he did the infamous pose that Michaels always does. And this part of the match was awesome. So Michaels is down. Jericho's standing in front of Michaels doing the HBK pose. Then Michaels does a kick up, and then turns around to Jericho and just punches him, which is great. So the two men exchanged some roll-ups after that, which was cool. They got some 2 counts off of that. From here, Jericho hit a lion salt on Shawn Michaels and covered him twice out of frustration. JR and Lawler on commentary, selling the injured back of Michaels, made it so much better. JR and Lawler were just amazing on commentary. Jericho would then lock Michaels in the walls of Jericho again, and he really wrenched back on it. You could see the pain in Michaels' eyes. It was amazing storytelling. Michaels made it to the rope to force a break. Jericho would then hit a reverse elbow off the top rope onto Shawn. I'm just calling him Michaels. Calling him Shawn feels weird. From here, Jericho then did a sweet chin music of his own to Michaels for a 2 count. Michaels would then get a run of momentum and hit some moves of his own on Jericho. Jericho took Michaels up to the top rope for a superplex, but Michaels countered in midair with a crossbody. From here, Shawn Michaels went up to the top rope, but Jericho kicked the referee into the ropes to avoid it. So that made Michaels land in a less than satisfactory manner on the turnbuckle. So Michaels lost his footing, lands on his crotch essentially. Michaels would then eventually hit a top rope elbow drop to Jericho. The crowd erupted at that. He laid Jericho down with some strikes. Michaels hits the top rope elbow drop to Jericho. From here, Michaels went for a sweet chin music of his own. Jericho ducks into another walls of Jericho on HBK. From here, Michaels got to the ropes, only for Jericho to drag him back into the middle of the ring. Michaels reached the rope again. Jericho, he's pleading with the referee that Michaels tapped out. The desperation of Jericho to beat his idol at WrestleMania. It's such a great, effective story. It was just so good. So, from here, Jericho turned around to a sweet chin music from Michaels, who eventually rolled over and covered Jericho for a near fall. Then we got the ending. So we got a couple of near falls, we got the ending. Both guys, they're out on their feet. Jericho Irish whips Michaels into one corner. Then he ended up doing a backslide pin combination where Michaels was pinning Jericho. The referee counts 1, 2, 3. Shawn Michaels beats Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. After the match, Michaels, he holds his hand out to Jericho out of respect. Jericho walked over, literally crying, hugs him, and then Jericho just did the dastardly heel act. He kicks Michaels below the belt before storming off. getting incredible heel heat for Jericho. Michaels, such a great babyface here. Michaels just collapses in the middle of the ring. 5 stars, easy, 22 minutes 34. Shawn Michaels defeats Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 19. Just awesome stuff. I couldn't say much more positive about this match. I absolutely loved it. So much good here. So that was great. From here, so that was that match. Just an all-time WrestleMania classic. Michaels Jericho. From here, we get a Limp Bizkit performance of Crack Addict. This was actually really good. So then we go to Jonathan Coachman introducing the Miller Lite Catfight Girls. This is the 4th Catfight Girls segment at WrestleMania. They come onto the stage and get into a pillow fight on some bed. So Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, these Catfight Girls, thrilling. I'm not going to review this any more than it needs to be. So moving on, we go to the singles match of the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H with Ric Flair against Booker T. This one is a very controversial match, and justifiably so. The whole thing with Booker T, the storyline itself, it made sense what they were going for with the storyline, but it really ruffled some feathers with the racial stereotyping they did. And a storyline like this, they could not get away with nowadays. They really couldn't. Like this whole, Triple H and the white supremacist type thing, and denigrating the black man from the streets, it really doesn't look good in a modern day setting, but for the time period it was accepted, so I'll go along with it. Pretty much, Triple H is the World Heavyweight Champion. This was still early 2003, so he's with Ric Flair, but we haven't seen Randy Orton and Batista really come into Evolution yet, because, Evolution was still a couple of months off being fully formed and fully strong, I believe. Like Evolution, they had Randy and Batista try out with Triple H for a little bit. They were on the road together, but they weren't quite the full Evolution as we knew them. So, Triple H was with Ric Flair, just as his manager. Booker T came into this match, no manager, no nothing. So, this match, second of the 5 main events, just, as I've said so many times now, but I love the 5 big main events of this show. So, anyway, from here, the King of Kings Triple H makes his entrance. This was where Triple H was wearing, like, the long, like, tights. It was a bizarre kind of attire for Triple H. Not something he ever really did much. But anyway, so he's wearing the purple here. From here, Booker T comes out. That was fine. As I said, the story, it made sense, but it wasn't the best. The match itself is looked back on wrestling history as the burial of Booker T. And granted, having Booker T win here would have made him into a big star. And I don't know why they didn't have Booker T win in hindsight. I guess they wanted Triple H to look strong and be world champion, but letting Booker T go over at WrestleMania would do nothing but good for the company. I don't know. Bit of backstage politicking goes a long way, I guess. So, anyway, Booker T came out. He came out of the gates red hot, striking away on Triple H, Irish whipping him into the corner and laying into him. Booker T arm dragged Triple H off the top rope onto the canvas. Booker T then went for a roundhouse kick on Triple H, but Triple H sent him headfirst in the ring post to the outside of the ring. Triple H went to the outside and slammed Booker's head onto the steel stairs. From that moment forward, Triple H commanded the match. He would slam his boot into Booker T's chest, elbow drop him, hit a spine buster on him, some other moves. JR and Lawler on commentary were really good at establishing the underdog story of Booker T, because JR is adamant that Booker T deserves to be World Heavyweight Champion more than anyone, because of what he's been through. So JR playing the reasonable kind of babyface commentator, whereas Jerry Lawler playing the heel, talking about how Booker T doesn't deserve to represent this company, and the Triple H is what the company needs. So the commentators did a great job here. This is the thing. Back at these WrestleManias, 17, 19, this time period in general, commentary could actually make you, feel more invested in the story. Nowadays, when Michael Cole and Corey Graves bicker over nothing, I can't get into it. When Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, Jerry Lawler ramble about, stuff all, that doesn't get me more invested. So, commentary did wonders for this match. From here, Triple H sent Booker T to the outside of the ring. Triple H distracts the referee. Then Ric Flair runs over and drops Booker T knee first on the steel steps. So really selling Booker T's knee. That was the story of this match. The match before this was all about HBK's back. This one was about Booker T's knee. So there was some good psychology in both these matches. Booker T got back into the ring, only to be locked in an Indian Deathlock, which was brilliantly called by Jim Ross. So, Jerry Lawler's talking about how the Nature Boy must have taught Triple H this move, because you barely ever see the Indian Deathlock in pro wrestling. Triple H then kept working away on the knee of Booker T. The referee got knocked down momentarily. Booker T then hit Triple H with a scissors kick for a near fall. Booker T climbed up to the top rope slowly. He knocks down Ric Flair and Triple H before doing a forward flip onto Triple H, which was an unorthodox move of Booker T, but it looked cool. From here, Triple H, out of desperation, hits a pedigree on Booker T. He rolls over, covers Booker T. 1, 2, 3. Triple H retains the World Heavyweight Championship over Booker T. I gave this 3 stars, 18 minutes 45. It was fine. Like, it wasn't like a bad match, but it's just the burial of Booker T. Like, the storytelling was great from the controversial racial thing, which I don't love them doing, but for a pro wrestling story, it works. You get to the match, the psychology was really good, so, I mean, in that regard, it was good. It's just, the match itself wasn't really exciting at all. It's just like a whatever match. So, Triple H winning and the match not being at all fast-paced makes it 3 stars in my eyes. 18:45, Triple H retains. So, that was the second of the big main events. Moving on to the third one, the street fight. Hulk Hogan versus Mr. McMahon. 19 years in the making. This one, the story wrote itself, which this is the thing about this WrestleMania and why so many people love it. All of the 5 big main events has such captivating stories. This is what I talk about nowadays when I talk about the road to WrestleMania. I'm just going to go through the matches again. Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was determined to beat his boyhood idol, Shawn Michaels, at the grandest stage of them all. Shawn Michaels was determined to win on his first WrestleMania back from his back surgery and the 5-year hiatus. From here, you moved on to Triple H, Booker T. Triple H representing the company the right way, being the rich white babyface, rich white representative of the company, as racist as it was. Booker T, fighting through all his troubled past to have his big moment at WrestleMania. From here, Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon. This one, obviously Hulk Hogan was brought into the spotlight by Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon. Hulk Hogan was the chosen one. Vince put Hogan on the map, and Hogan did so much for Vince. Both of these guys helped each other's careers so much. And then Hulk Hogan turned on Mr. McMahon in 93, or was it 92? Whenever they did that trial, the steroid trial, Hogan turned on Vince. Vince is bitter about that. So Vince is the dastardly heel. Hulk Hogan's playing the babyface. It all worked out so well. It really did. So this one, you knew from Hulk Hogan versus Mr. McMahon in 2003, you're not going to get like a 5-star wrestling classic. It was never going to be Jericho versus Michaels, but that's not what this was supposed to be. It was a street fight purely to provide more entertainment value and give it a different dimension to the card, give this WrestleMania another element. So in that regard, I really liked it. From here, Hogan came out first, then Vince came out. Vince McMahon's physique for this match was absolutely ridiculous. Vince was jacked in this match, and he was in his late 50s. For all the crap I give Vince for his booking decisions and his business moves, physically, he looked like a monster in this match. He looked ridiculous. So, Vince came down. Wouldn't be surprised if he'd been dosing himself with steroids in the build-up to this, because there was no wellness policy at this point, so it wouldn't have been an issue. But so Vince looked ridiculous. Just the dedication and the steroids, as well as running the company. Just Vince McMahon take a bow. Early on in this match, Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, they do their stare-downs, which the one they did at the start of the match, became the poster of the DVD. Just Hogan and Vince staring at each other. McMahon had Hogan in a double Roman knuckle lock. Hogan would then twice try to Hulk up, but Vince would lock him down, and grind to a halt. So that was cool. The match itself went to the outside of the ring, as you'd expect. Hulk Hogan punched away in the forehead of Vince. Vince would be bust open from the forehead immediately. Vince, he just bled heavily in this match. Blood absolutely everywhere, all over his face, a crimson mask. Vince went to club Hogan's head with a steel chair onto the ring post. Hogan ducks. From here, we got the main spot of the match, which is a Vince McMahon leg drop off the top of a ladder through the Spanish announce table to Hulk Hogan. The still shot of Vince McMahon grabbing the pipe from under the ring, then slowly coming up and looking over the announce table the apron menacingly. That was great. Hogan in the ring, he's reeling. Vince you see the sadistic crimson mask come up. That was just an awesome visual. Just, well done to the cameraman who made that happen. That was amazing. So that visual was awesome. From here, we get Hulk Hogan. He'd wind up getting, busted open himself. Then Roddy Piper ran down, clubs both men in the head with a pipe. McMahon covers Hogan for a 2 count. Then there was some referee drama, as you'd expect. The ending to this match saw Hulk Hogan hit one leg drop on Vince, then another, and then a third. So Hulk Hogan covers Vince, 1, 2, 3. Hulk Hogan beats Mr. McMahon in just a blood-filled street fight at WrestleMania 19. A good, entertaining match here. I actually enjoyed this match a lot. Just the spectacle of it, the story, the nostalgia, the amount they crammed into it, the blood, the action. I was entertained by it. As I said, it was never going to be Michaels versus Jericho or Gargano versus Ciampa, but for what it was very entertaining. I gave it 3.5 stars, 20 minutes, 47 seconds. Hulk Hogan beats Mr. McMahon at WrestleMania. After the match, Shane McMahon came down in a suit. He got into the ring, cradled his father as Vince is flipping off Hogan. Just great stuff. So that was the third main event. From here, we move on to the fourth main event. Just this show was stacked from top to bottom as far as main events. I mean, it's just main event to main event here. From here we go to the singles match, The Rock vs. Stone Cold Steve Austin. This one, I mean, they had the match at WrestleMania 15, WWF Championship, Rock defending against Austin, Rock coming in as the corporate champion, Austin's the white-hot babyface, Stone Cold beat The Rock, coronates himself as world champion for a second straight WrestleMania. So that was 15. At WrestleMania 17, The Rock and Austin, they had the big thing where Austin turned heel because he was so desperate to beat The Rock. So the roles kind of switched. You get to this WrestleMania, The Rock's once again a heel. He's the Hollywood Rock. He's done with the people. His destiny is to beat Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. He doesn't think it's fair that both of these guys are pretty much parallel as far as star power in the Attitude Era, but Stone Cold holds 2 WrestleMania victories over him, so The Rock can't have that. From here, they do the match. The build was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the build to 17 or 15, but it was decent build. Stone Cold, by this point in his career, he was done. He really was. He had his injured neck. He was unwell. He spent the night before WrestleMania 19, in the hospital with a fever or flu. I forget exactly what, but he was pretty unwell. So Stone Cold, he did this match. He soldiered through it. I'm so proud of Austin that this match is still his final WWE match. He hasn't come back for Saudi blood money. I mean, if Austin came back for a match with Punk at WrestleMania 29 or 30, that would have taken the keg, but it didn't happen. So fair play to Austin for staying retired. The match itself, Austin came out of the gate strong, guiding The Rock around ringside, slamming him headfirst in the announce table, headfirst in the barricade, and some other moves. The Rock eventually took control of the match. He worked away on the knees of Stone Cold, both of which were heavily, strapped up with Austin's, trademark knee brace. The Rock locked in a sharpshooter on Austin. He then let go of that and walked to ringside. Rock grabs Austin's vest from ringside. So from here, Rock's in the timekeeper's area. He pours water all over his head like Austin does, or with beer. And then, Austin is being mocked by The Rock. This is just hilarious. So Rock, he's really mocking Austin. Heel Rock, incredibly entertaining. More entertaining than anyone we've seen in pro wrestling in years. Rock gets back into the ring just to get annihilated by Austin. So the match broke down late on. I'm just going to skip a bit of this match. It broke down late. Stone Cold hit The Rock with a rock bottom. Then moments later, Rock hit a Stone Cold Stunner on Austin. Then the two kept punching away at each other. From here, Stone Cold delivered a Stone Cold Stunner of his own on The Rock for a near fall. The Rock would go for People's Elbow, but Austin moved out of the way. Rock would then nail Austin with a spinebuster moments later. Then he finally hit the People's Elbow on Austin. That got a near fall. From here, The Rock hit one rock bottom on Stone Cold. Stone Cold kicked out at 2. The Rock was enraged. He circled the ring before stalking Austin some more, waiting for Austin to arise. He just kicked out of a second rock bottom. From here, he kicked out of one rock bottom. Rock hits a second rock bottom on Austin. Austin once again kicks out. The finishing blow's coming. From here, The Rock's looking at Austin in disbelief. JR's selling it so well on commentary. Rock then looks at Austin again, hits a third rock bottom. 1, 2, 3. Stone Cold finally goes down to The Rock at WrestleMania. Rock wins his WrestleMania match against Stone Cold. He gets the third match in the trilogy. Just a great ending to this trilogy at WrestleMania. The Rock, Stone Cold, awesome stuff. After the match, Rock told Austin about how much he means to him. This is non-kayfabe, off mic. But they had this moment in the ring where Austin's laying on his back. Rock cradles over Austin, tells him how much he means to him. And from here, The Rock poses a little bit, thanks his family, then walks off. This gave Stone Cold Steve Austin time to leave the ring, soak in the applause from the Seattle crowd. Austin himself knew that this would be it from his in-ring standpoint, so that was great. Austin rode off into the sunset here, 4 stars, 17 minutes, 55 seconds. Rock beats Austin at WrestleMania. Great stuff. So that was what we got there. From here, we go to the main event. The main event. The 5th and final one of these blockbuster matches. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. This one, it was 2 full-timers going at it because this was the thing. I love how they have the 2 stars, the 2 WWE Championship contenders and champions and whatnot competing in the main event. Nowadays, they would have had Stone Cold and The Rock main event, and neither of those guys would be on TV the next night. But here, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, the faces of SmackDown, main event of WrestleMania 19, a great spot for them. So this, the true main event, literally, if I had $1 for every time during the match that Michael Cole told us that, quote-unquote, these are the 2 most decorated athletes in the history of the WWE, if I had $1 for every time Michael Cole said that, I'd have 6 figures in my bank account easily. Michael Cole talked about how great these athletes were too many times. I know, we can see with our own eyes that Brock Lesnar was just an absurd athlete, And then Kurt Angle was like, Olympian, amazing athlete as well. I could see that, Cole. You don't need to tell me so many times. So, pretty much, ignoring Cole for a second, these two guys, as I've said earlier in the video, they were in their absolute physical primes in 2003. Their feud, their matches were just unbelievable. This match, the one at SummerSlam, the one on SmackDown, the Iron Man match, just amazing. So, the match itself is pretty good. Like, as far as a rating, I gave it 4.5 stars. It was a really good match. So, Kurt Angle, he was utilizing various submissions throughout the match to wear down Brock Lesnar. He first did a sleeper hold choke on Brock, like a sleeper choke, which felt, it felt like he had locked in for like a minute and a half. Angle really locked in this like chokehold submission. Lesnar's face went beetroot red, or like purple. Brock was just looking like a tomato. From here, Angle adjusts this move into a rear naked choke, where Lesnar eventually stands up and drops Angle on his back. From here, Angle got driven spine first into the turnbuckles, so that broke all the submissions. The match carried on a bit. The action was really good. They went to ringside a little bit, but not too much. We'd seen the ringside thing be played up in the earlier matches. This match was very much in the ring, just on the mat and showing how great these athletes were. And Brock Lesnar's great mat game as well. Brock can just do everything at this time period. 2002 to 2004, Brock Lesnar was one of the most outstanding physical specimens and pro wrestlers you'll ever see. Him with Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece was just phenomenal. So, the match carried on. Brock Lesnar hit some more suplexes on Kurt Angle. Brock Lesnar and Kurt both love their suplexes, which suplexes are pro wrestling moves. When I see suplexes, I think pro wrestling. So, Lesnar's doing his belly to belly suplex throws to Angle. He's doing his belly to backs, all those kind of suplexes. That was great. Lesnar, he sends Angle flying to the outside of the ring. They, wrestled there a little bit. They went back into the ring. Lesnar would hit an F5 on Kurt Angle. Angle manages to kick out at 2. That shocked everyone because to that point, I don't think the F5 had been kicked out of. And if it had been kicked out of once, maybe the Big Show, I think. But that was a rare moment. Angle kicking out of Brock's finisher. Back in the day where pro wrestling, the finishers felt special. So, Angle kicked out of Brock's finisher. From here, Angle played possum a little bit before locking in the ankle lock on Brock Lesnar. Brock, he dragged himself to the ropes with Angle on top of him. So that was awesome. Both men by this point were spent. We were 16, 17, 18 minutes into the match. Both guys are spent. From here, Brock Lesnar hits a second F5 on Kurt Angle. And then instead of covering, Brock stares at the top rope. And here was the moment which could have paralyzed Brock, could have killed him. Brock stares at the top rope. He proceeds to go up to the top rope. Commentary, Michael Cole, Taz, they're like, what the hell is he doing? He has the match won. If he loses this match, this is going to be the moment that costs him. Brock goes to the top rope and then does the infamous shooting star press. Yeah, lands on his neck. It was just a disaster. Brock lands smack bang on his neck and head. From here, both men get back up. I don't know how Brock did. I thought he'd be dead from this. Lesnar then kicks Angle in the gut before getting him up on his shoulders. Brock hits the third F5 on Angle for the pinfall. So, Brock Lesnar defeats Kurt Angle in the main event of WrestleMania 19. Wins the WWE Championship. The era of Brock Lesnar, it really has begun because, the Beast arrived at SummerSlam when he beat The Rock in 2002. Then you had the stuff where, Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar. Heyman sided with Big Show. So Big Show became champion for a month. And then the title went back to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle held it. Then Kurt Angle and Brock did their thing. So Brock Lesnar wins the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania 19. Really coronating the Beast. 21 minutes and 7 seconds. 4.5 stars. So that was the show. Overall, this show, I gave it an A+. Honestly, I was thinking A or an A+. This show's an A+. Just the historical significance, how great the show is in, reverence and hindsight. Literally, the second greatest WrestleMania of all time. The second greatest show that the World Wrestling Entertainment's put on, in my opinion. Just the card, the storytelling, the fact that it's second only to WrestleMania 17 speaks volumes to how great this show was. This show had no bad or mediocre matches. I mean, the first 4 matches were all serviceable. The opening match, Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio, was pretty damn good for the 5 minutes it got. The triple threat tag match, if it got 5 more minutes, it would have been 4+ stars. The women's match was pretty decent for in its own right. And then the Undertaker streak match was eh. So those matches were easy to watch. Nothing that turned your interest off from the show. And then Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho came out and had a 5-star classic. Those guys told an incredible story and was awesome. Then Triple H and Booker T went on after that. A very controversial match, storyline, and ending. So that was cool. From here, Hulk Hogan and Mr. McMahon had the street fight, which was amazing storytelling and very significant in pro wrestling history. Then Austin and Rock had their third WrestleMania match in the trilogy. Awesome stuff, super fun, incredibly good to watch. Then the main event, Brock and Angle, the present at the time, the 2003 superstars, the guys who would be there to carry the brands from the rest of 2003. They had their infamous match, the Shooting Star Press Botch. What a moment. So, all in all, a sensational pro wrestling show, the second best WrestleMania ever, headlined by 5 big main events back to back to back to back to back. 100% I recommend this show if you haven't seen it already. So that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and sub. What do you guys think of this show? Any WrestleMania reviews you want to see coming forward? So yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and sub. See ya.